I can't hear it. Okay. Good morning.
Hi there.
Good morning.
Okay. Good morning. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan Strategic Fund to order. Before we begin, Natalie, please conduct a roll call to confirm board attendance.
Dr. Afolder Kane,
Present.
Mr. Eklund,
Present.
Mr. Groen,
Present.
Mr. Hutcherson,
Here.
Mr. Cap,
Here?
Mr. Lockwood,
Here.
Mr. Messer,
Present.
Mr. Myring, joining a few minutes late today, Mr. Richardson, Mr. Rothstein,
Here.
Ms. Tellier, and Ms. Warner. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Let me just be very brief because we have a full agenda. Today, we'll hear projects that will focus on the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's continued execution of the Make It in Michigan economic development strategy focused on attracting and developing people, cultivating and revitalizing places, and competing for and winning projects. Second, I would like to also shout out, because I'm a sports fanatic, the Tigers, go Tigers, as they go take the field this afternoon. And then finally, always want to thank the volunteer members of the Michigan Strategic Fund Board for their continued work, as well as my colleagues who support them, as well as the Department of Attorney General. We have received 8 pre-registered, I should say, virtual public comments for today's meeting. Per the MSF public comment policy, each public comment is limited to 3 minutes each. And then I want to make sure that we have the board protocol for voice votes to ensure the accuracy of our meeting minutes. I'd like to ask each of my fellow board members to please identify him, her, or themselves before offering a motion. Additionally, Natalie will conduct a roll call for each vote. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Natalie.
Thanks, Quentin. We will now open the meeting for in-person public comment. For those physically present in the room wishing to speak during public comment, please approach the podium at this time. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes each. Additionally, you must state your name and city of residence before providing your remarks.
Good morning. My name is Ingrid Ty, and I'm a resident of Birmingham, Michigan. And I am the president of the Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center, or MMTC, as many of you know it. I'd like to first start off today by offering a heartfelt thanks to Michigan Economic Development Corporation for your long-standing partnership and unwavering support over the years. Together, we've made a real lasting impact on Michigan's manufacturing sector. And MMTC is excited to continue working with you to advance the state manufacturing strategy. At MMTC, we are fully committed to supporting the MEDC's key priorities for the manufacturing industry. Let me just take a quick moment to highlight a few things that we are doing to help with that. First, we are working to advance mobility, assisting companies in making the shift from the internal combustion engine to electric vehicle. Through our work with the MEDC and also on initiatives like the Global Epicenter of Mobility, GEM, we are ensuring that Michigan remains a leader in this transformative industry. Second, we're focused on enhancing supply chain resiliency. MMTC offers supplier scouting and matchmaking services, helping companies connect with the right resources to strengthen and expand the state's vital supply chain. Third, we are committed to bolstering the defense industrial base. By supporting programs like the Submarine Supplier Initiative and aerospace training, we're ensuring Michigan plays a critical role in our national security efforts. And finally, we recognize the importance of attracting and retaining talent in our industry. Through our comprehensive training programs, we help manufacturers build the skilled workforce. At MMTC, we're proud of the real, measurable impact we're making across the state. Each year, we consult with nearly 500 small and medium-sized manufacturers, and we provide classroom training to more than 500 additional companies, reaching approximately 7,000 individuals annually. One specific example that I'd like to bring up is a conversation I had with CEO of MR Chain, Ryan Schultz, just last week. He told me because of the work that we did with him on machine monitoring, he was able to save 3 seconds on his press. They make plastic chain. Some of you might sit here today and say, okay, great, 3 seconds. But for him, every single second was an additional $150,000 in annual revenue. 3 seconds equaled almost $500,000 in additional revenue for that small company located in Copish, Michigan. And those are the types of the real on-the-ground impacts that our organization is having on the manufacturing economy today. For every dollar the MEDC invests in us, we generate roughly $4 to $5 in additional investment in federal and private dollars in Michigan's economy. We're delivering high-quality technical training and consulting in areas such as manufacturing operations, quality, leadership, technology adoption. This includes cutting-edge topics like additive manufacturing, cybersecurity, AI, robotics, and software management. In closing, I'd like to thank you once again for your continued support and partnership. We ask for your consideration of our annual grant request and look forward to many more years working together to build a brighter, stronger future for Michigan manufacturing. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your public comment this morning. Is there anybody else at this time wishing to make public comment? Okay. Seeing nobody approach the podium at this time, the in-person public comment period has ended. We will now open the meeting for virtual public comment. We've received 8 pre-registered virtual public comments. For those of you who have pre-registered, I will call your name and the last 4 digits of your phone number to signal your turn to speak. Once prompted, you must use the raise hand function and I will prompt you to unmute your microphone. If you're dialed in on your phone, you'll need to press *9 to use the raise hand function when I get to you and press *6 to unmute yourself. With that, I'll begin with our first pre-registered virtual public comment for today with Joshua Lunger with a phone number ending in 5168. Not seeing Joshua on the call this morning, we'll now move to Marjorie Steele with the phone number ending in 8944. Don't see Ms. Steele on the line. With that, we'll move to Doug Baum with a phone number ending in 5031.
Hello,
Doug,
are
you
you
should be.
hear me?
Oh, good morning. Yep, please proceed with your public comment.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Doug Baum. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of Northeast Michigan Council of Governments, or NEMCOG. Before joining NEMCOG, I served as a city manager and police chief for the city of Grayling for 13 years, and I am proud to call Northeast Michigan home since 1982. You know, I always say that our region's greatest export is our youth, and they are leaving our area for good quality, high-paying jobs. Project Raven, or SOB, this project can create a pipeline with high school students and Kirtland Community College to get our youth into these quality jobs. This investment from the MEDC and SOB will create livable wages here in Northeast Michigan, and that means our kids don't have to leave the area to find good jobs. This project also means a boost in our local economy. When people are working, they have the ability to also reinvest in their communities, make purchases, and shop at our local businesses. This is a way everyone can win. NEMCOG has been focused on talent attraction and retention in our area for a number of years, and I can say with confidence that this project is a smart investment and one that this region really needs. NEMCOG has dedicated staff and resources and will continue to be part of the combined local and state effort to bring this project to Northeast Michigan. And I just want to say thanks to the MEDC and Saab for their work on this project, and I would like to thank the MSF board for hearing me out. I hope we can count on you for your support with Saab.
Thank you. Appreciate your remarks this morning. We'll now move on to Joe Smock with a phone number ending in 2905. Joe, I see you're unmuted. You can go ahead and proceed with your public comment, please. Can't quite hear you, Joe. If you could try unmuting yourself one more time. If not, we can come back to you. Maybe some issues with your microphone, Joe. We'll move on and come back to you. At this time, I'll go to Warren Call with the phone number ending in 9174.
Good morning. My name is Warren Call. I'm President and CEO of Traverse Connect and a member of the Northern Michigan Chamber Alliance, representing 18 chambers and economic development organizations across Northern Michigan. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm joining you today to convey our strong support for the Saab project with its expansion of advanced manufacturing and high-quality jobs to Northern Michigan. Saab's investment will not only benefit the Grayling area in Crawford County, but also the surrounding region, including Kalkaska and Otsego County, which have a skilled talent pool for manufacturing. As was mentioned a moment ago, our local education community, area high schools, and Kirtland community colleges are prepared to be a valuable pipeline to get our youth into these jobs. And it's really not just about the jobs, it's about the right kind of jobs. These are sustainable careers that offer year-round employment and allow people to thrive in Northern Michigan. These quality job opportunities help to improve talent retention and attraction across the entire region, expanding and further extending the strong population growth that we're experiencing here in the Grand Traverse area.
Thank you. We appreciate your public comment this morning. I'll go back to Joe Smock. Joe, if you could unmute your microphone, you have 3 minutes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed with your public comment.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Smock. I am a Grayling Township trustee. I've lived in Grayling all of my life. I've several generations from here. I'm a retired master sergeant with over 30 years in the military, 25 years at Camp Grayling. I am in support of Saab coming to Grayling. I believe bringing 70 jobs to start with and up to 140 would be great. I agree with Doug. A lot of our younger generation is leaving the community to go elsewhere. These would be some great jobs to have around here. I like the support for the local community. I like the idea of possibly building a few more houses and keeping a few more people around here. Saab should bring a lot of that to this community. I would like to thank the MEDC and Saab for working on this project, and I would like to thank MSF board for hearing me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smock. At this time, we'll move on to Lori Jameson with the phone number ending in 2464.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed with your public comment.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Lori Jameson. I am the board chairman of the Crawford County Board of Commissioners. I've lived in Grayling for 26 years. I've raised my family here. I want to continue seeing opportunities for future generations. One of the biggest concerns in our community is the lack of opportunities for the young adults. Many leave because they don't see a future here, while others who, if they can't afford it, they stay or they may return once they get established. That's why I'm thankful for Saab plans to partner with Kirtland College to build up our younger workforce. The wages that Saab will offer are also targeting the middle class, which is the missing group we need to build up. We need bringing in jobs like these supports not just the individuals, but families, and helps create a stronger, more sustainable economy. When people have jobs in our region, they purchase homes here and they shop at our local businesses. It is a win-win for everyone. I believe Grayling is a great place to live. I do believe Saab's presence will only make it better. We're building on our strengths and creating more opportunities for our residents and future generations. I want to thank the MEDC, Saab, and Camp Grayling for their work on this project. And I'd like to thank the MSF board for hearing me out. I hope we can count on your support.
Thank you. We appreciate your public comment this morning. I'll now move on to Lacey Steffen with a phone number ending in 3184.
Hi, everybody. Go Tigers. Me and my wife will be down there for Thursday, Friday's game, and Sunday, the last game. So I'm glad they matter, and go Tigers. So I'd like to start out. Hello, my name is Lacey Steffen, and I'm the Grayling Township Supervisor. I'm also a 6th-generation Grayling resident. My family is proud to call this community our home for more than a century. My grandfather, great uncle, and my dad were in the room when Trout Unlimited was created. Stewardship of the land is the priority for my family and our community so that the next generation can enjoy everything that we have. There is a delicate balance between manufacturing and Mother Nature that Grayling Township is responsible for. First, we are an outdoorsman's paradise. Close second is for our children in our community to stay here and raise their families here, just like mine has. It can be a struggle to find good jobs and maintain the delicate balance to keep some of our brightest minds from having to leave the area. The investment from MEDC and Saab will create a path for our youth to stay in the area and raise their families here without environmental impact to our natural resources. From what I've heard, it sounds like Saab really cares about our community, about the communities they locate in, while also a stewardship of the environment. They want to be a part of our community, not just another industry. They're going to create a pipeline with local high schools in Kirtland Community College to make sure our kids get the training required to get these jobs. As a 6th-generation Grayling resident, I would support this project pending environmental impact studies, CCEDP recommendations, and concerns in our community answered. The possibilities Saab can bring to our community sounds mostly positive, and if so, would be a great fit to our community. I hope the MS board will also support this project. Thank you for your time. Over.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to our final pre-registered virtual public comment for today. I have a Faye Nemmer with a phone number ending in 2229. And I don't see Faye on the call this morning, so that does conclude our virtual public comment period for today's meeting. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Quentin.
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you to everyone who comment either in person or publicly. Natalie, are there any board communications at this time?
One communication was shared with the MSF board via email on Monday, September 23rd.
Thank you very much, Natalie. We'll now move to our subcommittee reports. We'll begin with the Finance and Investment Subcommittee. We'll turn to Chair Hutcherson. Are there any readouts from your committee that you would like to share?
Well, we talked about a couple of potential upcoming projects, but nothing to report out for requiring approval.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
We'll move to the Policy and Planning Subcommittee. Chairwoman Warner, are there any readouts from your committee you would like to share?
No, same as Mr. Hutchinson. Nothing notable to share. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll now move to our consent agenda. There are 11 items on the consent agenda today. First, propose August 27th, 2024 meeting minutes. Second, business marketing Lambert Contract Amendment. Third, Chelsea Rockwell LLC MCRP Amendment. 4, FY 2025 Memorandum of Understanding between the parties of the Michigan Strategic Fund and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. 5, May Mobility, Inc., MBDP Grant Amendment. 6, the Michigander Scholars Program Grant Amendments. 7, Michigan International Technology Center Act 381 Work Plan Amendment. 8, FY 2025 Funding Allocations, Contractual Small Business Solutions and Services. 9th, Travel Michigan and Advertising Campaign Contract Amendment. 10th, FY 2025 Funding Allocations. 11th, MICF Program Funding Allocation. Are there any questions regarding this consent agenda?
Cap moves approval.
We have a motion for approval by Cap. Do we have a second?
Supported by Hutcherson.
We have a motion by Cap, a second by Hutcherson to approve the consent agenda. Natalie, please conduct a roll call vote.
Dr. Affolter Kane,
Yes.
Mr. Eklund,
Yes.
Mr. Groen,
Yes.
Mr. Hutcherson,
Yes.
Mr. Cap,
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood,
Yes.
Mr. Messer,
Yes.
Mr. Myring,
Yes.
Mr. Rothstein,
Yes.
and Ms. Warner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. The motion passes. We will now go to the next item on our agenda. It is Saab Inc., the Michigan Business Development Program Grant and State Essential Services Assessment Exemption. We will have 2 votes. This is part of the Making in Michigan Economic Development Strategy, the projects, competing for and winning projects. At this time, we welcome my colleague, Michelle Grinnell, Senior Vice President of Market Growth and Business Attraction, to present a resolution to approve a Michigan Business Development Program performance-based grant and a state essential services assessment exemption for Saab Inc. Take it away, Michelle.
Hi, good morning. I'm really pleased to be here today to bring before your consideration a project that will be bringing high wage jobs and new investment to Northern Michigan. I'm joined today by Brad Bernard, Vice President and General Manager of Land Systems at Saab, who will speak more on the company itself and their goals for this project. But Saab is looking to invest at least $75 million in Grayling Township to establish an integration and assembly facility to support the engineering and production of cutting edge projects products to meet the needs of the U.S. military. And specifically, this facility they are looking to locate in Grayling Township will house all aspects of their land-based systems products, from assemblers and fabricators to engineers and inspectors. So one of the really exciting elements of this project is the wages those jobs will bring to a geographically disadvantaged area, which you heard a little bit about in the public comment. Starting wages will be at $23 an hour, which is more than $4 an hour above the current regional median wage in the area. And those wages will go up to and above $50 an hour, bringing very real and meaningful, not just jobs, but careers and economic opportunity to the community. The company's already begun conversations with Kirtland Community College around how they can work together to create that local pipeline of talent into these jobs. From the perspective of MEDC's work to grow strategic sectors in the state, this project is a tremendous intersection between advanced manufacturing and engineering with our growing defense and aerospace sector. Saab is a global company with more than 22,000 employees across 300 countries, and this will be their first investment here in the state of Michigan. They've already been really engaged with the community and creating those roots that will allow them to continue and thrive and grow here in the state. They're locating on a unique site. It's currently owned by the DNR, but zoned for industrial and commercial use, with the intention for development under an MOU between the DNR, Grayling Township, and the Crawford County Economic Development Partnership. So the incentives being considered today are a critical element in ensuring site readiness efforts on the site can meet can be met and access to talent, and that there's an ability to grow and the site is needed. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Brad to speak a little bit more detail on the project as well as the company's work to be a partner in this community.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. And thanks to thanks to the board for inviting me to attend. And I guess I should say go Tigers as well. I need to get that out of the way up front. It truly is a unique honor for me to be on this call as a native Michigander, having an opportunity to contribute to the economic health of the state. I'll start with a little bit of a background and then a story of kind of how we got to where we are today. So Saab Inc. is a U.S. business that is based in Syracuse, New York. It consists of 4 operating divisions. As Michelle mentioned, I'm the general manager for the Land Systems division. Since I joined Saab a little over a year ago, actually I should say years before I joined Saab, about a year ago, the company has aspired to establish a production facility for its what we call our Dynamics business in the U.S. And I've got to say, I really want to thank Quentin and the MEDC team for helping us realize that vision really kind of in an accelerated fashion over the last year. Most of the talk has been about the manufacturing facility itself, and Michelle laid out some high-level elements of how we expect that to look. But I think the really important piece here is that we're looking for a home for our Land Systems organization. And a key piece of that's going to be partnering with the community and being active local citizens. So as we did our assessment of where we wanted to locate this capability, we looked at a range of quantitative and qualitative criteria at the various sites across various states. We looked at access to a workforce, access to the kind of land that we thought we needed. But one of the real key discriminators that really moved Michigan and Grayling to the top, and something that's really important both to us in the U.S. and our Swedish leadership, was cultural fit. And that's something we feel really strongly about that needs to be in place as we go into any community. And our leadership team at Saab here in the U.S. has deep Michigan roots. And our Swedish colleagues felt when we did our tours up around Grayling and northern Michigan, they really felt like it was home and a place that they wanted to commit to. So Grayling will be the 10th site that Saab's established in the U.S. And one thing that we're really proud of is our track record of being active community members. One of the things I love about this business is when we make a commitment, it's a long-term commitment, and we embed ourselves in a community. 2 examples are in Syracuse or West Lafayette, where we really play a proactive role in the community through charities and volunteering. Lacey mentioned the importance of economic impact, and that's something we agree with fully. Sustainability is a core value to Saab, and we really look forward to practicing those values in Grayling. From a purely numbers perspective, I know Michelle touched on it. We view 70 jobs really, and this is, our commitment in this program is really kind of being the floor. We see a lot of opportunity there, I think within the next 5 years or so, getting up to 200 plus jobs. And we ultimately see our capital investment being closer to the 120 million range. So we see this as a great step forward, a great opportunity to build a meaningful place in the community up in Grayling in northern Michigan. And we're really, really excited to move forward and strengthen Michigan's position as the arsenal of democracy. Any questions at all on our plan from a Saab perspective?
Hi, Brad. Can you talk a little bit about the timing of the project and kind of how the investment will be layered in on a timeline?
Sure. So we're really focused. We've actually leaned forward over the last few weeks and have begun to put together a draft site plan, and we've hired a general contractor and an architect so we can hit the ground running once we get through these approvals. We'll be actually looking to break ground in the April timeframe of 2025, and our plan is to have a limited operating capability in the first quarter of 2026. So we expect the lion's share of that investment to be applied next year, with maybe about 2/3 next year, with about 1/3 of that in 2026.
And you mentioned potentially scaling up to, towards 200 jobs and a larger investment. When would that decision be made?
Yeah, so what right now, what we're looking at, we're kind of looking at this in phases, right? And this initial investment is a phase one. I think that's going to be dependent on, you know, what kind of business we see coming through, what kind of capacity we feel like we need going forward. But I, you know, there are two programs specifically that we're going to use as pilots to get this program and this facility up and running. And both of those programs have a really healthy pipeline going forward. And one of the additional pieces that we're looking at, or I should say strategic rationale for this investment, is helping address some of the capacity concerns that we have, or capacity limitations we have in our business in Sweden. So it really is something that's gonna, we think, help the US customer and help some of our global customers as well.
There was mention of kind of the cultural fit and kind of community partnership. Could you talk a little bit more about any kind of you know, workforce engagement training that you would do, or work with the local community colleges for training?
Yeah, we've already had some introductory meetings with Kirtland and have started talking about, you know, how we put together kind of a customized education plan for what we need. A lot of what we're bringing on is going to be, you know, highly skilled kind of touch labor. So it's going to be a combination of building that out, building a very customized program with Kirtland, and also applying some of that expertise from our facility that we have in Sweden, that's been at a town called Karlskoga in Sweden, where we've been building this product for 150 years. So it's going to be taking that expertise, applying a unique kind of US training twist to that, and bringing in some advanced manufacturing elements to it as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
Thanks, Board Member Myring. Any other questions for our presenters? Any other questions? Hearing no questions, we will conduct two separate votes, as I previously indicated. For the first vote, we will vote to approve the Michigan Business Development Program grant. Do we have a motion to approve this request? I will move by Messer. Is there a second?
Rothstein.
I hear 2 seconds. Rothstein and Affolter Kane to approve the request. Natalie, please conduct a roll call vote.
Dr. Affolter Kane.
Yes.
Mr. Eklund.
Yes.
Mr. Groen.
Yes.
Mr. Hutcherson.
Yes.
Mr. Cap.
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood.
Yes.
Mr. Messer.
Yes.
Mr. Myring.
Yes.
Mr. Rothstein.
Yes.
And Ms. Warner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. The motion passes and the recommendation is adopted. The second vote is to approve the State Essential Services Assessment exemption. A motion is needed to conduct a roll call vote. Do we have such a motion?
Moved by Hutcherson.
Moved by Hutcherson, second by Messer to approve the request. Natalie, please conduct a roll call vote.
Dr. Affolter Kane.
Yes.
Mr. Eklund.
Yes.
Mr. Groen.
Yes.
Mr. Hutcherson.
Yes.
Mr. Cap.
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood.
Yes.
Mr. Messer.
Yes.
Mr. Myring.
Yes.
Mr. Rothstein.
Yes.
And Ms. Warner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. That motion passes and the recommendation is adopted. Well, congratulations to Saab Inc. and also really grateful for those members of the community who decided to participate this morning. We look forward to hearing the update and seeing the breaking of ground next year. For our next item of business, we welcome my colleague Vlatko Tomic-Bobis, Investment Director of Europe, here at the MEDC to present a resolution to approve a Michigan Business Development Program grant and a State Essential Services Assessment exemption for LAFLA Automotive US, Inc. Flacco, please take it away.
Thank you, Quentin, and thank you to the MSF board for your time this morning. As mentioned, my name is Vlatko Tomic-Bobis. I'm the investment director for the MEDC, and I'm really excited to introduce Lepla Automotive here today. Lepla is a historic parts supplier from Germany that is currently evaluating the US market for their North American manufacturing facility. During their site selection process, the company has identified the historic Mount Elliott tool and die facility, formerly owned by Chrysler located in Detroit for this project. Lepla has a deep knowledge in revitalizing former industrial facilities and bringing them back to life, as we have seen in Germany, which really makes this a terrific opportunity for Detroit and for Michigan. Overall, Lepla will invest $93 million and create 173 new jobs for the city of Detroit. I would like to thank Lepla for the confidence in Michigan and for the partnership with the MEDC. And with me today, I have Oliver Wackenhut, President of Lepla Automotive, Maureen Krause, President of the Detroit Regional Partnership, and Kevin Johnson, President and CEO of the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, to give us brief remarks. But first, I would like to introduce Brittany Meisner to give us the formal recommendation to the MSF board. Brittany?
Hi, thanks, Vlatko. Good morning, everyone. As Vlatko mentioned, my name is Brittany Meiser. I'm the Business Development Project Manager collaborating on this exciting project. Today, we're bringing before you a transformational opportunity for the city of Detroit with Lepla Automotive. As Vlatko mentioned, this will result in the direct creation of 173 jobs and the investment of at least $93 million over the next 5 years. With that, I would actually like to hand it over to Oliver to start, and he will discuss the project in details, and then I will close with my recommendation. Oliver?
Yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you can hear me. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Oliver Wackenhut. I'm the responsible president and CEO of the Lepla Automotive. I'm with the company for now 30 years. And first of all, I would like to thank everybody to have the opportunity to present our project today in the MSF, basically. And I would like to direct my special thanks to the City of Detroit and the Detroit Regional Partnership, and also the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Thanks for their tremendous help and bringing us to this point. Please give me the opportunity to introduce very briefly the Lepla Group. Basically, Lepla Automotive is a typical German automotive supplier with 105 years of experience in automotive. And basically, we are operating 2 major plants in Europe. And at the moment, we are having 1,200 employees in our 2 plants in Germany. We are producing stampings and assemblies for most of the German and European automotive car manufacturers. And basically, we are supplying also lately the new electric automotive supplier in Germany who launched this plant in Berlin, basically. Vlatko mentioned already that we would like to bring MEDD back to life. This is a great opportunity for us because we, as a German automotive supplier, we have already experience with relaunching older facilities. In the 1990s, basically, Lepla purchased the former steel mill in Bavaria, and we brought this back to life. And today we are running this facility with 700 employees, and we are supplying BMW, VW, Webasto, Mercedes, and Porsche out of this plant in Regensburg in Bavaria. The plant in Detroit is really interesting for us. With basically, it gives us a very good basement, and especially with the existing building and with the existing equipment, it would really help to launch our business in North America to supply our existing customers. But with that, basically, we have also in mind that we are expanding our customer portfolio, and we would like to step in also with the big 3. At the moment, we have only with GM a little bit of business in Germany, but we would like to expand this in the US. As Vlatko mentioned as well, and also Brittany, we are having the intention to create up to 200 jobs. In the first phase, we will establish between 80 and 100 jobs. And within the next 5 years, we see, depending on the new business we can acquire from the big three, basically up to the 200 jobs. The investment will be in the facility, into the building, into equipment, but also into the equipment for the customer, basically, that we can build at the end the parts. For us, also one important topic I would like to mention at the end, we would like to also bring our expertise in training to the Detroit area. Lepple, basically the Lepple Group is running already over 50 years in apprenticeship own department, and the qualifying young people means a lot to the Lepple company, and we would like to develop this actually apprenticeship program together with the Detroit responsible departments in the near future. Yeah, in summary, I would like to thank everybody once again for considering our project here today. I'm very excited to hopefully become part of the Detroit community, and that we can bring back Mount Elliott to life. That will be a very exciting project for the Lepple Automotive. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Oliver. Next, I would like to hand over to Maureen from the DRP to speak briefly from her perspective on this project. Maureen?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Brittany. And hello, Oliver. Good to see you on the screen. I'm Maureen Donahue-Kraus, President and CEO of the Detroit Regional Partnership. And I want to thank the Michigan Strategic Fund for considering the Lepple Automotive proposal today. We are just so excited to welcome them to Detroit because of some of the things that Oliver already mentioned. First of all, the job creation, over 170 jobs and $93 million, as well as taking a really iconic building in Detroit that has been vacant and bringing new life into it. In July, Quentin and Kevin Johnson and Vladko and I were able to go and visit Lepple in their facility in Germany that Oliver mentioned. And here's what we saw. We saw this company's commitment to taking an older facility and bringing new life into it in a really amazing facility that they have. And then we were able to see their commitment to their apprenticeship program and how they really want to, support the local workforce, upskill them and bring them into the technologies and the skills needed for the future. So we couldn't be more excited to have Lepple here. We know it was a competitive process, and we also know in Michigan that when the MEDC and the Detroit Regional Partnership and partners like the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, when we work together, that is when we put our best forward for our customer, in this case, Lepple. We are very happy to support this proposal to the Michigan Strategic Fund Board, and really want to thank you all for your consideration today.
Thank you, Maureen. I appreciate your time this morning. Lastly, I would like to allow Kevin from the DEGC to speak briefly as well. Kevin?
Thank you, Brittany, and Oliver. It's so good to see you, my friend. We really appreciate the hospitality you provided to my colleagues and I when we visited with you in July. I want to just highlight a few points for the consideration of the Michigan Strategic Fund leadership, and that is the excitement that we're feeling here in Detroit to see a facility like Mount Elliott being repurposed to such a high producing use for supplying goods to OEMs, as well as to some of the foreign brands that Lepple does business with, is a real testament to Detroit as the center of the automotive universe. And this doubling down on that from a 100-plus-year-old operator like Lepple should say to the state of Michigan that the exaggeration of our demise in automotive business is greatly exaggerated. And we are certainly showing our strength by having a company of the quality of Lepple consider Detroit for this opportunity. The other thing I'd like to suggest to you is that we have been working, currently working with LEPLA through Detroit at Work. As you've heard Maureen talk about the apprenticeships that this company engages in. We see that as a double win for us, because these are skills for life that LEPLA will provide to the great citizens of Detroit to take advantage of. And so we're really excited about that. So I did want to also tell you that the mayor strongly supports this project, has had conversations with the team, and we really, really appreciate the consideration of MSF providing the necessary resources to bring this project to Detroit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate your time this morning. Board members, based on the significant investment in the city of Detroit, the revitalization and use of a currently vacant facility, the importance that you've heard from Kevin and Maureen of this on-site training opportunity, both internally and externally with LEPLA, as well as the potential for long-term growth with LEPLA and their partners. We are asking for approval this morning of a Michigan Business Development Program grant up to $3,500,000, as well as a 5-year 100% CESA exemption. The CESA exemption is estimated at just over $650,000. We are also asking with the exemption to waive the 3-year commencement requirement to allow the company to include all eligible investment made over the full 5-year timeframe for this project. With that, we will open it up for questions.
Thank you to our presenters, especially Oliver. Good to see you again, sir. Board members, are there any questions for our presenters?
Hey, Oliver, Dan Myring. Wondered if you could speak a little bit about your site selection process for North America and kind of maybe other locations you were looking at and how Michigan stacked up against them.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Nice to meet you. Yeah, basically, we looked already, 20 years ago, I would say already, to the US as LEPLA, and we launched a facility in South Carolina, which basically we lost in the bank crisis 2009. So I'm myself very familiar because I launched this plant in South Carolina in 2005, basically. With the South and the Southern Belt, and most of our German customers, they would like to see us in the Southern Belt, basically. At the moment, we are operating together with our partner, a small operation in Alabama. But the reason why we ended up actually in Detroit has 2 major reasons. And basically, this is the existing building and also the available workforce. We would like to launch our business with service part business, and therefore we need really big building with big cranes, big overhead cranes. And Mount Elliott is the perfect place which can basically facilitate this building or this business. And honestly, these kind of buildings are at the moment not in the South available. And so we ended up in Detroit. And also, quite honestly, at the beginning, I was a little bit concerned because I still had information 10 years ago from Detroit, and I was really, really surprised. And now I'm glad to looking forward, basically, that we can launch, hopefully, our business in Detroit.
Thanks, Oliver.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dan. Other questions or comments? If there are no additional questions, for the first vote, we will vote to approve the Michigan Business Development Program grant. A motion is needed to approve this request. Do we have such a motion?
Hutcherson will move to approve.
Hutchison moves, second by Messer, to approve the request. Natalie, please conduct a roll call vote.
Dr. Affolter-Kane.
Yes.
Mr. Eklund.
Yes.
Mr. Groen.
Yes.
Mr. Hutcherson.
Yes.
Mr. Cap.
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood.
Yes.
Mr. Messer.
Yes.
Mr. Myring.
Yes.
Mr. Rothstein.
Yes.
and Ms. Warner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. The motion passes and the recommendation is adopted. The second vote is to approve the State Essential Services Assessment exemption. A motion is needed to conduct a roll call vote. Do we have such a motion?
Warner motions.
Warner motions,
Seconds.
second by Alfolter Kane, I believe, to approve the request. Natalie, please conduct a roll call vote.
Dr. Afolter Kane,
Yes.
Mr. Eklund,
Yes.
Mr. Groen,
Yes.
Mr. Hutcherson,
Yes.
Mr. Cap,
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood,
Yes.
Mr. Messer,
Yes.
Mr. Myring,
Yes.
Mr. Rothstein,
Yes.
and Ms. Warner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. That motion also passes and the recommendation is adopted. Welcome to Detroit, to the Lepla team, and we're very grateful for this opportunity. Look forward for you to bring this iconic building back into commerce. And thank you to our partners from the Detroit Regional Partnership and Detroit Economic Growth Corporation and my colleagues. Thank you very much. We will now move to our next agenda item, focus on the places part of the Making It Michigan Economic Development Strategy. We will hear from Julius Edwards twice in quick succession. The first is the Plaza Midtown LLC, Michigan Community Revitalization Program, Other Economic Assistance Equity Agreement Amendment. We will welcome Julius for that. Julius, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Messer, and thank you to the MSF board. With me today, I believe I have James Van Dyke from the development team, as well as David Dorita. And also joining us would be Brittany Hoskew from the city of Detroit. In terms of the project itself, the Plaza Midtown project is a project in Detroit, which is a historic renovation of a former office or medical building facility into approximately 72 apartment units and 2,000 square feet of retail space. The project was approved for a $3.5 million MCRP equity award in October 2015. Although the project has had success from a leasing standpoint, it has some challenges from cash flow standpoint, which has left it unable to provide a return to the MSF. As it currently stands, we have a unique opportunity to seek to reposition the transaction and attract approximately $6 to $7 million of new equity or capital into the city of Detroit, as well as help meet the needs of a growing hospitality needs in the city of Detroit. So as part of our request today, we're requesting to restructure our original MSF equity investment, as well as waive existing returns. The restructuring of our MSF award would change it to a cash flow split of 90-10, with 10% going to the MSF. It's anticipated as a part of that split, the MSF will be able to achieve between a 4% and 5% return, which would be a valuable return of capital back to the MSF, which we can reinvest in the communities across the state. So at this time, I'll hand it over to Mr. Dorita to speak further about the transaction itself.
Thank you, Julius. Can I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. And again, Julius did some good background there. I just wanted to give a little bit, if I could, for the benefit of the board, some information we shared with the committees about the background on this project. As Julius indicated, this started with a redevelopment of a building that was actually slated for demolition in connection with the development of the site that was that has since become the mid-development site. The MSF did provide a $3.5 million equity investment to this project in return tied to cash flow. Following our original investment, which was about $24 million, the property opened as 72 residential units, 15 of them reserved for people earning under 80% AMI, along with about 2,000 square feet of retail. And as Julius indicated, while the development initially leased up and has maintained residential occupancies in the high 80s to mid 90s range since completion, it has struggled from the outset to achieve its projected NOIs, which has in turn produced no return for the MSF or frankly for the private investors in the property. This has really been a function of a couple factors I want to make sure to elucidate. First of all, the fact that the larger mid-development originally slated to be completed in advance of the plaza never advanced, pulled down the attractiveness of this project. As a result, and while we now know that project is moving forward, the plaza has continued to be surrounded by nearly 5 undeveloped and blighted acres of raw land, which has cut it off from the neighboring business activity, as well as precluded the original planned connection to the medical center. And secondly, I would say I would highlight that taxes on the property, while subject to an OPRA abatement since 2016, have been considerably higher than originally projected due to frankly, very high assessments in the Midtown districts of Detroit. So with the plaza operating at essentially break even and the looming expiration of those abatements on the property in just under 2 years, we as ownership concluded that without a major improvement to revenue generating capacity for the building, the plaza would not be a sustainable asset and at a material risk of default to its senior debt to capital impact. This in turn would of course wipe out any possibility of a return to the MSF or to our investors. So after evaluating a number of alternatives, we concluded that a conversion to a residential hotel under a licensing agreement with Marriott International in their new brand Apartments by Marriott was the most viable approach. This conversion will require an additional investment, as Julius indicated, by ownership in the range of $7 to $8 million over the next 12 months, and will convert all 72 residential apartments into fully furnished units available for both short-term stay as well as long-term rental. It would leave both of the local retailers on the main floor intact. And most importantly, the higher revenue generated through this new investment will ensure that the property can continue to make debt service payments to our senior lender, and we think create a clear path to refinancing that debt at maturity. It will avoid the necessity of seeking an extension or other reapplication for tax abatements on the site, even after the sunset of our current OPRA. And most importantly to this body, it will provide a clear path to a return, the MSF's initial investment, plus a return on that investment, along with a return for the private investors. While the elimination of these 72 units of long-term housing is small relative to the substantial supply coming into the district over the next year, ownership is nonetheless committed to the city on a relocation plan for the 15 affordable units, which will involve other properties owned by us and result in 0 net reduction of affordable housing. Lastly, and I feel like I'd like to make a little pitch for the hospitality industry, which we're deeply engaged in Detroit. The hospitality use plan for this site will create additional quality jobs for Detroit residents, in addition to meeting a growing demand in this district for overnight accommodations. As demonstrated by the Roxbury Group's other hospitality projects in the greater downtown, including the Hotel David Whitney, the Element at the Metropolitan, and our soon to open AC Detroit at the Bonsdale. These hotels have or will create over 300 permanent jobs. And one of the things that I always like to point out about the jobs we create through our hospitality industry, 60 to 70% of these will be filled by Detroit residents. So with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Julius and James Van Dyke, my partner, to talk about the economic proposition.
Thanks, David. Before we move along, I'd like to give Brittany Hoskew the opportunity to speak on behalf of the mayor's office.
Thank you, Julius, and thank you, David, for outlining the project here. Good morning, Brittany Hoskew, Deputy Group Executive of Economic Development in the Mayor's Office here at the City of Detroit. I am calling in today in support of the amendment to the originally approved MSF support for the project. The development team has made a $24 million investment in this historic, what was previously known as the Hammer and Nail Building, now the Plaza Midtown. And the City of Detroit at the time supported that investment unanimously with, as David mentioned, an obsolete property rehabilitation act abatement with the value of about $4.2 million over a 12-year period. While the project has been successful, as David outlined, this opportunity will further strengthen the project and create much needed hospitality options in the Midtown area, prompting the request before you today. The city is undergoing a rejuvenation, largely driven by many of the investments that the MSF has made. Things like tourism, investment in real estate, and businesses like Lepla, thank you for your support, are increasing demand in the hospitality industry. Huntington Place is the 16th largest convention center in the United States, but is not fully optimized. We can't realize full optimization of that property without additional hotel rooms, not only immediately adjacent to the facility, but also across the city of Detroit and across the region. While the JW Marriott, previously supported by this body, is beneficial, there's still, based on a recent study earlier this month, a need for an additional 1,000 hotel rooms in the downtown or in the Detroit market. This change diversifies the market in Midtown, increasing foot traffic in the area, and provides hospitality options for the nearby university, hospital nearby, and cultural district. As David mentioned, the development team made a commitment to reserving 20% of the units at 8% AMI as part of their abatement agreement with the city of Detroit. As they look to the change of use, the development team has entered into a tenant relocation plan, committing to absorbing those affordable units elsewhere in their portfolio, and offering support to the existing residents in the transition. So I want to thank you for your consideration today and turn it back over to Julius to bring us home here.
All right, thank you, David and Brittany. You guys did an excellent job. Just to summarize, what we're requesting today is waiver of accrued returns related to the original equity investment, as well as the ability to restructure our equity investment to allow for additional $7 to $8 million of investment to convert the transaction from residential to a hospitality use. Overall, staff believes it'll be a benefit to the MSF, as it will allow us to recoup our original capital investment as well as a return into the future. So with that being said, I'll open up to any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you very much to our presenters. Board members, are there any questions for the presenters? If there are no questions, a motion is needed to conduct a roll call vote. Do we have such a motion? Messer will move. Is there a second?
Rothstein.
Rothstein seconds to approve the request. Natalie, please conduct a roll call vote.
Dr. Affolter Kane. Dr. Affolter Kane. Dr. Thank you. Mr. Eklund?
Yes.
Mr. Groen?
Yes.
Mr. Hutcherson?
Yes.
Mr. Kapp?
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood?
Yes.
Mr. Messer?
Yes.
Mr. Meyering?
Yes.
Mr. Rothstein?
Yes.
And Ms. Warner?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. The motion passes and recommendation is adopted. Thank you very much to the team and to especially our former MEDC colleague, Brittany Hoskew, who's now doing a great job at the City of Detroit. Julius, you're still on deck, not on deck, you're still at the plate. Fulton and Seward, LLC, Michigan Community Revitalization Program, Other Economic Assistance Loan Agreement Amendment. Julius, please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Messer. Hopefully I don't get interrupted. Have a little challenge this week working from home with a puppy that's not happy. So if you hear a little barking in the background, please excuse me. Today, what we're looking at is an amendment for the Fulton and Seward project. The project was approved for a $3 million Other Economic Assistance Loan Participation Award back in June of 2015 for the development of 102 residential units, 116 space parking structure, as well as retail in the city of Grand Rapids. The request before us is a request to waive a $500,000 success fee. And the reason for that request is the project has faced some challenges as it relates to what we originally anticipated from a revenue standpoint. Although leasing has gone well from a residential standpoint, there has been some challenges in terms of the anticipated rental rates that were projected to originally be received, as well as some challenges primarily driven by COVID and leasing up the retail space. With that being said, it led to a restructuring of the original debt on the project and additional capital being contributed to the project. Although the project has faced some challenges, overall it's been a success from the standpoint that we've created a long-term asset for the community. Also, we've had the opportunity to work with a development team that has been committed to the project, as well as a lender in Huntington Bank who has been committed to this transaction in general. So as we move forward, staff believes waiving of the success fee, which is due at maturity. It's a $500,000 success fee, which is due at maturity, will better position MSF to fully receive back its original investment in the transaction, as well as, position repayment to the MSF on its original investment, either through a sale or maturity of the loan, which we anticipate to happen within the next 12 months. And also, we being a positive, but more being a punitive thing, considering the commitment of the development team and their additional equity investment and contributions to the project in terms of the restructuring. So overall, what we're requesting is waiver of that $500,000 success fee, which would bring this project with alignment with the traditional transactions in which we have in our portfolio, as well as better position MSF for payoff of its loan at either a sale or maturity of the loan, which is anticipated within the next 12 months. And so at this time, I'll open up to any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you so much, Julius. Board members, any questions for Julius? If there are no questions, a motion is needed to conduct a roll call vote to approve this request. Do we have such a motion?
Cindy Warner motions.
Warner motions, Messer seconds to approve the request. Natalie, please conduct a roll call vote.
Dr. Affolter Kane.
Yes.
Mr. Eklund.
Yes.
Mr. Groen.
Yes.
Mr. Hutcherson.
Yes.
Mr. Cap.
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood.
Yes.
Mr. Messer.
Yes.
Mr. Meyering.
Yes.
Mr. Rothstein.
Yes.
And Ms. Warner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. The motion passes and the recommendation is adopted. Thank you so much, Julius. And your puppy was very good. So.
All right. Thank you all for your time and consideration.
Yep. Thank you, sir. We will now go to the next agenda item, which I believe may be the penultimate item. It is the delegation of authority report. Board members, it was included in your board package. Are there any questions regarding the report? Any questions on the monthly delegated authority report? If there are no questions, we have reached the end of the agenda. Do board members have other items of business to discuss?